Noob D&D Dad here, and we are going to talk about Little Kid D&D session number 3, in which the kids fight that gross creature. Go.
It's a roper.
Okay, so if you remember from the last Little D&D session, Little Kid D&D session, they were on their way to the Crusty Juggler Inn to meet the triple-hooded explorer, and they came across, they fought some kobolds. And the kobolds said to them, "We're bad and we're robbers because we dropped out of school, so give us all your stuff." And they defeated them, and then they found an old lady who was laying on the side of the road who was sick. So they took her to the inn, and the innkeeper was an attractive old lady with a gray streak in her hair and red glasses. And then I said, and my wife was sitting there doing something with the baby, and I described the innkeeper as such. And I said, so the innkeeper says, and gestured to my wife, and so then my wife became the impromptu innkeeper NPC. So what was the first thing the attractive older lady innkeeper said to us, or said to the party? She said that the baby pooped on the blanket. Anyway, and then the players are holding this sick lady, and they said, "What should we do?" And the innkeeper said that they could take her up to an empty room. And as they were setting her down on the bed, she said, "Thank you." And then she also said, "The only thing that will make me better is a tea from the white lotus flower." So that means their parents now and also this old lady both need that white lotus flower. So it's their original mission becomes even more urgent. So
I had a dream about that.
Okay, so they go to the lobby of the hotel, and they're looking for the triple-hooded explorer, and they find him sitting by the fire taking long draws on a lollipop. And he has 3 hoods, a brown, a red, and a green one that he's wearing. And they go up and they talk to him, and they just start asking him if he can take them to the white lotus flower. He tells them that the white lotus flower is at the top of the tallest mountain of these 3 mountains that are called the 3 Sisters, that are directly north of the good guy castle, in between them and the bad guy castle. So the triple-hooded explorer asks the party, and I'm having them roll like persuasion rolls and stuff like that, so that they can roll dice. They really like rolling dice. And honestly, little side story here, Little Kid D&D is tough. Like, just keeping their attention spans, and the fact that they're all fighting over dice, and it's their bedtime and they're getting tired and angry, like, I have to keep it super simple and keep it moving to the point where I'm like, okay, now what do your characters do? And then I have to, like, suggest stuff like, "What are you doing in the window, you goober?" So I'd say half the challenge of Little Kid D&D is just keeping their attention, because we're doing 9-year-old, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and then we did have a 2-year-old at the table as well. He wasn't really... Well, actually, I guess he rolled a 1 on persuasion, and I had his character just fall over. So the characters are trying to convince this triple-hooded explorer to actually help them find the flower, and I was not expecting that. What did we find out about the triple-hooded explorer?
I remember what he said. He just said, "I don't know you."
Yeah. So he said, "What's in it for me?" And the 3-year-old goes, "Pollen." And I was like, "What?" And then they all looked at me like, "What? What's he going to think of that?" So then he pulls off a mask, and he's actually a bee person, and he has little things, and he's like, "Actually, I'm a bee person, so I would love pollen." And which I decided right then when my 3-year-old said that pollen would be the reward for him joining them. And then he's like, "How much pollen are we talking?" And then my 9-year-old's like, "All the pollen that we find." And the bee person, whose name is Carlos, is just like, "Well, that's not very quantifiable." Anyway, they decided they're going to get him pounds of pollen for assisting them. So he's like, "I will take you to the bottom of the mountain." So the adventurers set off to the 3 Sisters mountains, to the middle mountain, which is the tallest one. And on the way there, I have there be like a little pyramid of round, or like river pebble rocks in the middle of the road. Like a little pile of rocks, right? Like tennis ball size rocks. And I didn't honestly know what I was going to have it be. I wanted to see what their reaction was. But I decided... So I opened the monster manual, and I was like, there's got to be something in here called a rock golem, right? And I go to the R and the G, and I didn't see anything. But while I was in the R section of the index of the monster manual, I I saw something, I think it was called ROC. I sasaw this thing and I was like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And then I was like,
It's a roper!
it is a roper. I was like, let's see. Okay, it lives in caves and caverns and it's mistaken for like a stalagmite. And I was like, that can be a pile of rocks. I modified its stat block heavily though. So I gave it an AC of 10 and hit points of 20. I still let it do +7 to attack, but I had to only do 1d4 damage. Okay, so they fought it. We have one of them hit it with a short sword. Two of them, because they're the dragon people, two of them did their lightning breath. And then the bee threw off his cloak and flew up in the air and did like a bee sting attack. But since he's a bee, we don't want him to die, so he had like a sword attached to it where his stinger would be. And then what happened?
I killed the roper.
Yeah, you did with what?
My short sword.
Yep, nice. And the roper did chomp your brother, huh? Okay, and as far as initiatives go and attack and everything, so basically anything that will slow down the flow of it because they're having a really hard time paying attention, I just gloss over. So I just have them roll and I just decide if it hits or not. Here you go. Okay, and how much damage did you do to the roper?
8.
You did 9 damage with your...
Lightning breath.
Yeah, nice.
I did 9. This is a dragonborn.
All right. So since it's still really early in the game and they don't really have anything special, I decided to do the treasure hoard D100 roll to see if they got anything. The 3-year-old got banished from the table for spitting on another player, and then the 5-year-old rolled an 86 on the D100 on the appropriate challenge rating level of the treasure hoard in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and then she ended up getting 3 rolls on Magic Table F. She got a Ring of Mind Shielding, an Amulet of Proof against detection of good or detection of and something, and a Pearl of Power. So she's the Tiefling monk. So it's total overkill, but I wanted to get some items flowing. And then the 9-year-old got a Potion of Climbing and a Spell Scroll of Mage Hand, which he was very disappointed about. He wanted something epic, but it's like, guys, this is your second session and you're level 1. Like, calm down. But yeah, I kept a lot of the rolls very simple and didn't worry too much about a lot of the additions. And they seemed to have fun. So that is session number 2 of Little Kid D&D, in which it was very hard to maintain their attention. And so we just had to breeze over it, and I had to suggest actions for them.
And we got some gold.
You did get some gold. So I had to suggest some actions for them because they're not quite used to describing what they do all the time. So anyway, this is technically the 3rd group I'm DMing for, if you count my son and my friends group and the Army Veterans group. This is like a 3rd, maybe a 0.5 group I'm DMing for. So anyway, Noob D&D dad here, trying to DM some stuff on the fly. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you like this kind of thing, then stick around. Okay, bye.